Hey folks, this is Colin Riley here. I'm just going to start commentating on an AI a fellow scripter developed. I'm not sure how to pronounce it correctly, but I think it's called Charon. And here's a match with Charon playing. It starts counting sheep. That's pretty cool.
Quit touching me!
So we can message 150 or 152 to 154 to play with a specific strategy. Let's do 153. I will use my camel strat now. Oh, that's pretty cool. So I think the way this works is there's like an acknowledge taunt command, and you can set the value of certain variables based on whether or not a taunt was sent. But so Charon's gonna go with the camel strat. We'll see how that plays out, right? These are just 3 standard AIs. Looks like we have the Teutons, the Japanese, and the Koreans. And that is an interesting route to go down, camels with Koreans. And I would just like to highlight the fact that this is what a mature AI looks like, right? Let's see. Let's take a look at how the code is structured. Let's go to AI. As you can see, there's all these .per files, and it looks like, right, here's the camel strat. Let's open that up. We'll open it up in good old Notepad, why not? And this is what a mature scripter does, right? They break out the different aspects of their strategy into different personality files. And if we look at Charon, age up 1 maybe? There's probably some load commands. There's a lot of stuff going on here, right? So I'm a little overwhelmed by all the codes, so I'm just going to go back to the game and spectate that. I think we can learn a lot about how Charon behaves by just watching a match. It says the herd animal meat has been gathered, and it's still counting sheep. So that's pretty cool. Like, it knows when its herds, when the herdables have been like exhausted, right? Something like that. I'm not going to be speaking the most sense, so sorry if I embarrass the creator of the Charon AI with my dumb commentary. But we'll just have to accept that my commentary is not the greatest and move on from that. We see normal Dark Age here. Just gathering the herdables. Herdable. That's a word, right? In Age of Empires 2, there's some words. I think I learned some words just because I played Age of Empires 2 back in the day as a child, right? Like herdable, that's sort of a strange word, but it exists in the game of AoE 2. It says herd animal meat has been gathered. It's said that twice now, so. And that makes sense because it found an initial flock of sheep, and then it found some more sheep. This, it says increasing lumber camp distance. Oh, that's cool. I really do enjoy this chat because it lets us see past a layer of abstraction and lets us know, like, hey, the AI, the Charon AI, lets us know what it's up to. We can watch like a normal game. We don't necessarily have to dive into the code deeply. It'll let us know what it's doing through chat messages, so that's pretty cool. I really do. I really think the sheep counting thing is pretty cool. And one time in the past, I used XS scripting to actually determine if there were sheep or not. And some people, XS is sort of like a C-type language that you can program in. And you can actually load XS scripts from your .per files. So what I've noticed some mature AI scripters do is they combine the power of XS with the .per, and they make some really stellar AIs because XS is sort of like a traditional programming language, and then in that you have variables, you have function calls, and things like that. And there's actually a really good website that talks about XS scripting. Let's make sure we're in Edge, right? Let's go to user-generated-content-rocks.org. UGCrocks.org. Let's see. I forget what the site is. If I go into the Discord and I go to XS scripting and I look at the pinned messages, there it is, right? So here's the XS scripting a beginner's guide. It even has a quick link for programmers, which I am, but if I was beginning from scratch, even though I have programmed in C and C++ like languages before, I would actually read this, you know, because the Zen mindset is to always be a beginner, and that's sort of like the secret of the arts, according to some Zen masters, right? Looks like it found some more sheep, and it's counting them up. It has found 8 sheep total. I really do appreciate that touch. It just makes it, this AI is pretty cool, you know. So, the lumber operation is a little all over the place, but really, I think Charon limits itself to Age of Kings, what's available in the Age of Kings, so I'm not sure if there's duck involved in this AI or not. Probably not, right? So, this is a scripter, you know, whoever created Charon, they're exercising the simplicity of the green and yellow commands that were available in the original game when it first came out, right? Looks like the scouts, you know, they ran past each other. That happens. And, you know, back when I was young and I used to play this game, I used to try to do as much damage as I could with just the scout, and it always would be a miserable failure. And, well, it's sort of a part of the game's design is like, you know, the first military unit you have access to is sort of crappy, right? I mean, you can whack on a few of the opponent's villagers, but they fight back. And 2 or 3 villagers can fight off a scout pretty easily, so if you want to do some damage, you know, that's sort of a lesson there. The lesson is, you know, if you want to do early attacks, then click up to feudal. And in feudal age, your military options expand, right? It goes skirmisher, archer, scout, and militia. So I told it to go for a camel strat. We'll see how this AI, we'll see how it progresses into its camel strat. Like, is there sort of a transition period where it starts to get more food and gold? Because I know camels are food and gold heavy, I think. I could be wrong about that, though. I could be misremembering what the resource cost for camels is. And that says a lot about me as a player, right? I'm just sort of a pleb, a noob, but, and unfortunately I'll probably stay stuck there for the rest of my life. But that's okay, right? That's nothing to freak out about. You know, if your whole life is playing Age of Empires 2 and making money off that, you know, that might be a scary statement. Oh, if I'm a pleb and I don't get better, I'm not going to win any tournaments, therefore I'm not going to win any money, therefore I'm not going to be able to feed myself, right? That's sort of the logic there, but I would suggest that's a little bit of paranoia. You know, the world out there is full of good people, and when you need help the most, you tend to get it. May not always be the smoothest operation, you know, navigating life. But, that's alright. You know, there are bumps in the road, right? I'm finding my mid-30s to be a very odd, time for me. I shouldn't say my mid-30s, I should say my early 30s. Right, I'm only 31 years old, so I have a lot to learn about how the world works. And I'm only just now beginning to admit that. Enemy sighted. It almost sounds like the TF2 soldier, the voice actor for that enemy sighted taunt. It almost sounds like the TF2 soldier. TF2, you know, Team Fortress
Nice
2.
town. I'll take it.
Charon has got some personality. So we'll see what happens here. Nothing too much, nothing too fancy going on here, right? You know, villagers, they're working. They're tending the fields and chopping the wood. Little known fact about me is in the wintertime, I actually help heat the house with wood. We have a wood furnace. We have multiple wood furnaces at my residence, and they require wood as fuel to burn, you know, during the winter to keep the house warm. So I go out there with the 9-pound maul or the axe or whatever and start chopping away, and occasionally a neighbor gifts us, you know, he lets us borrow their wood splitter, which makes the whole task way easier. But yeah, I burn firewood during the winter to keep warm. That's the Minnesota way, I suppose. We do see a mining camp come up. And this reminds me of my AI. You know, my AI does the same thing. It puts up a mining camp, and then it doesn't really shift any of villagers over to gold. Not immediately, at least. There might be a way to make that transition to mining a bit more smoother, right? It's just like, you know, if you're doing your economy distribution based on age, you'll see like your villagers do like a radical shift to new resources. Anytime an age is clicked up, right? Whoa, I'm spilling coffee everywhere. I just spilled a copious amount of coffee on myself. That's pretty cool, right? Little fact about my life. Also, this is very off topic, but my dog killed a baby coon today, and felt pretty bad for the coon. But it's just life out here in the boonies, right? Just another day, you know. Oh, the dog caught a critter. And, you know, my dad sort of gets mad and angry at the dog for doing that, and the dog gets tied up, and I don't know what to do about the situation, so I jump on the computer and start babbling. That's how I cope, right? Let's see, do I have my vape over here? No, I do not. Don't know how I'm going to get through this commentary without a smoke or a vape. It could be a neat challenge in discipline, but I'm a very undisciplined person, so chances are pretty good I'm going to wander off and roll off a cig. Roll off? I'm going to roll up a cig at some point and start smoking. Not that I don't like watching Charon, I do. It's just staying locked in for, you know, my attention span is really shot right now. It's like, you know, you're gonna get 10 or 20 seconds of my attention and then I'm gonna switch to something else. And maybe it's cabin fever, maybe it's bipolar. Who knows, right? It's just something that I have to cope with, like, yep. Kellen got bored, he went to go smoke a cigarette, now he's back. So, yeah. The thing is, I will never be a streamer because out here you need to pay for like a satellite internet connection in order to, you know, shove enough bits out there so you can get the streaming nice and smooth. And so YouTube is going to be more my jam because I get to record this. You know, I can record this offline, right? I don't even have to be connected to the internet. And then when I need to upload, I can just hop onto my phone's hotspot and upload, right? So I'm going to roll up a ciggy and continue the commentary. Okay, I'm back. And nobody cares that I'm back, but that's okay, right? You're just gonna... Ooh, what's happening over here? There's blinking. Looks like Charon put up a tower in green space, and this tower is shooting a house. And them houses, you know, the medieval houses, they're pretty sturdy against arrow fire, you know. Those villagers back in the day, they knew they were gonna get attacked. So... Anybody out there watch Goblin 420? He has some pretty fun drug stories. Not that I endorse doing drugs, but, you know, everybody has their own lane that they're in, and Goblin 420 is the weed man who does commentary and explains these crazy drug stories, and it's quite entertaining, so... Now, to be clear, I'm smoking tobacco here, folks, so I'm 100% legal in the state of Minnesota. The weed laws of Minnesota, like, it's confusing, right? If you can get your hands on some weed, well, good job, because it's like one day it's illegal, and then another day it's not, and then another day it's illegal. You know, you could pop into a smoke shop at any point, and they might have THC, they might not, depending on the day. Looks like Charon produced a spearman. Might as well, right? If you have a, whoops. What did I do? I don't want to do that. Oh man, I really fucked it up. Alright, I set a gather point here. I bumped my, I was right-clicking and I bumped my ashtray, and now I set the gather point there, so... I don't really know where to set it. You know, right there should be good. Charon doesn't seem to mind that the gather point got screwed up. You know, it's sending its villagers to go gather resources, so that's good. And this pikeman, you know, pikemen versus wolves. It's a bit of it's a close contest, but the pikeman wins in the end. Yep, I think that's pretty fair. I think I messed something up in the game setup. I think Charon, like, plays, it plays certain civs, and I don't think Koreans is one of them, so let's check the Discord and make sure I'm doing this correctly. Let's see, direct messages. Goth is his competitive civ, but he can play any Age of Kings civ. Okay, so I'm good. So, you know, apologies to whoever the scripter is if they don't want to get their direct messages exposed on YouTube, but I think I'm okay. You know, if I hear feedback that hey, dude, don't put your direct messages with me on YouTube. If I hear that feedback, then I will refrain from doing that. But for now, you know, it's better to ask. It's better to apologize than to ask permission, right? This is my justification for peeping at some direct messages. But this Charon AI, wow, it really goes crazy on the farms. One thing I've noticed with my AIs is they're a little low on the food. But this AI, doing really well with the food bank, like 1,000 food in the bank. Really nicely balanced its wood economy out too, which is something I have trouble with. Like, I really don't know how to balance the wood choppers, because there's matches where my AI plays and it's got like stockpiled over 1,200 wood. You really don't want to be doing that, right? You want to be investing wood into buildings that will help you further down the line, right? Establish a good infrastructure for your civ. Looks like we killed off the enemy scout. I missed that. Looks like we got a few scouts. Let's see, we do have a few scouts. So that's pretty interesting. We're going to castle, right? Holy hell, I am nervous today, and this is probably because, you know, showcasing somebody else's work can be a little bit nail-biting for me, right? I don't want to say anything that's too critical or too dumb about how the AI actually works, you know. That's my self-conscious, you know, me. Me. How many people think I could get an interview with Dr. K for free? You all know Dr. K, right? He's the YouTuber psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Dr. K is good shit, but you know, behind it all, it's a money-making thing, right? And Dr. K, I'm sure he definitely helps a lot of people work through issues, that's for sure, and he definitely deserves money for doing that, but you know, I've got negative $30 in the bank right now, so speaking to Dr. K is a bit high-minded of me. What can I do, right? I can call a crisis line and they'll listen to me for like 20 or 30 minutes, but oh, it looks like we got an attack by green. I'm gonna turn the game volume down a bit here. Looks like we got an attack by green and these scouts are coming in to defend, but looks like we have a few villagers too firing on the man-at-arms. These scouts actually won. I am really surprised. I expected green to
gold, please.
Totally, I expected green to totally win with the man-at-arms, but it did not. You know, these scout cavalry are a lot stouter than I thought. So they fended off that attack from green really nicely. Really well done by Charon. Even got a little arrow fire from the town center on those guys. So. Well, that's one cigarette. Now, I'm here staring at this ashtray and I'm seeing a lot of butts that I could smoke, so I'm gonna do that.
Monk! I need a monk!
Light cavalry. Very nice. You know, if you invest in a few scouts, it definitely pays to upgrade to light cavalry, because light cavalry is like a proper military unit, and it only costs food, so it's a great one. It's a good one to have. You know, a lot of pro players really do rely on the light cavalry to do some heavy-duty raiding, so this is pretty cool to see from Charon. I'd be really embarrassed if it's actually pronounced like Charon. It could be, right? I'm just assuming that the CH is like sh. You know, I'm a dumb guy from the United States, so I don't know how to pronounce some words. Looks like we picked up a relic. Where did we pick that one up? Let's see, is there a monk? There's a monk. So Charon does not forget about the relics, right? That's one thing that's easy to forget as a scripter. It's like, oh yeah, there are multiple win conditions, and which one should I go for, right? Conquest, usually the easiest one to go for, because the AIs, they tend to get a few relics before you can capture them all. So sorry I'm not being more active with the... Let's see, what's it saying? Maximum town size.
Gold,
39. Not really quite sure what that means, but looks like I made another monk, and it's Wololoing. YOLO, WOLO. It's expanding its town size, so that's pretty neat, right? It's doing it in stages, and that's really cool. And, do the Koreans get access to camels? No, they do not. So even though I told it to go for a camel heavy strat, it's actually going into the light cavalry because that's the only thing, right? I wonder if I told it to switch. Let's see, 152. No, it's not responding at this point, so I told it to go for the camel strat with a civ that doesn't have camels, and it's coping very well with that fact, right? This is like a stupid user error on my part, like, I should have checked the tech tree, derp. Kellen's a bit of a derp, you know. Sometimes he gets it right, but about 90% of the time, I would say the failure rate for, you know, my ambitions, I get ambitions, right, and I'm like, ooh, I'm itching to satisfy these ambitions. And, you know, about 90% of the time I get it wrong, and maybe 10% of the time I get it right, which is, you know, it's a pretty good success rate. You know, 10% profit. Looks like an attack is coming now. Look at all these light cavalry. Wow. So Charon is sending out a big group of light cavalry, and they're not all waiting to get bunched up to go to the attack. They're just sort of all going for the attack at once. So I'm really curious, like, how the AI scripter got the cavalry to do that, because anytime I send my dudes to attack, they all have to, like, group up and then expand. These light cavalry are, man, they're going in. So I'm seeing another butt to smoke, and that's what I'll do. Right now my microphone is caked in coffee because I, you know, can't really handle my coffee that well, but that's okay. Now where are these guys going? Like, they did a nice little raid and now they're going over here. Okay, they're targeting a barracks from red. Looks like red's producing the right counter unit, but it doesn't have enough of them, right? So I'm really impressed with this this light cavalry stuff, you know. This is really good. This is like what you would see out of a pro player with light cavalry, right? The light cavalry don't stay in one spot for too long. They just keep raiding and running around. So they're gonna take down this barracks, and then not really sure what they're gonna do. They're just standing around for the moment. There's a couple vills here they could pick off pretty easily. Oh, looks like they're going on the attack again. There's a few different methods for attacking with the AoE2 scripting engine. There's like town size attack, there's attack now, there's duck. I have yet to understand what the difference between them all is, but the AI ref does a good job explaining, so I just have to do some more reading. And wow, this is really quite the force of light cavalry, so it looks like it will take down that town center. Also, another good thing about light cavalry is after you destroy your opponent's infrastructure, it's really nice to be able to scoot around the map and clean up. You know, the mop-up operation is a lot easier with these light cavalry because they're so quick. So we'll see, is it gonna target any villagers? That's what I'm wondering about. It might be, you know, it's tradition in Age of Empires 2, if your opponent is on the standard difficulty, it's tradition that you don't target their villagers. So, this match could go on for quite a while if that's the case, right? Because the villagers, they just keep running around. Come on, do it.
Piggy.
Here's one pikeman that, you know, we saw him fight off a wolf earlier. He's a little bit injured. But he did win that battle, you know. He has a stick. He has a pointy stick, so. Oh, it looks like there's an attack down here. It looks like some swordsmen came in and they're beating up against a building here. I hear a monk, Wololoing. Let's see if he gets the conversion off. He does. Green has sent a few pikes too, so that counters a few light cavalry, but man, look at this. What's going on here? There's a battering ram? That's pretty cool. Where are all these scouts going? It's so cool how these scouts, like, run around the map. Really interesting stuff. I've never gotten my own AI to do it like that, so... And, green's getting owned, it's trying to do some damage, but, because there's so many... What are these called? Light cavalry. Because there's so many cavalry around, it's just like... sort of a lost cause, right? So I think I'm going to call the game here, my commentary's been a bit all over the place, but it's going up to YouTube anyways, It's called, what do they call it, mouth diarrhea? Diarrhea of the mouth. That's sort of what this has been, but I've seen some really cool stuff from this Charon AI, and I'm really glad the scripters shared the link to this AI, because it was so interesting how I told it to go camels, but it was a civilization that didn't have camels, and it coped with it so well. It just went into light cavalry, and I'm really impressed by that, so... Anyways, this has been Kellen Riley speaking, signing off.